What's that smell?
Hi there folks, Skills McSkell here to introduce a very special treat, a guest Story Minute segment by our good friend Nate Graziano. We had to go all the way up to New Hampshire to get it. What a trip that was. Suffice it to say, I was not the biggest freak on the bus. But we made it back safely, and here now is the story that Nate Graziano felt you needed to hear. We hope you enjoy it. Engineer, please run the Story Minutes intro, and then be a pal and run down to the deli and get me a bagel and some coffee.
Story minutes are minutes in which I tell you a story. Story minutes are minutes in which I tell you a story.
Alright, so I grew up in Rhode Island, went to college in New Hampshire, and it was Thanksgiving break, and I went home to my family's house. And I brought my girlfriend at the time, and as soon as we got home, as soon as I walked in the door, there was the smell of chili, and I knew right away that my father was making some chili. And I was psyched, man. I was really, really fucking stoked. And so I disregard everything. I go running up the stairs right into the kitchen, and I'm like some sort of hound, like chili. So, and at that point, my parents were like, hey, how you doing, etc., etc. But I had one thing on my mind, and that was getting right at that freaking chili. I didn't even introduce my girlfriend. I didn't even talk to my parents. I just sat there, I dug right in and started eating the chili. And while I'm eating it, the whole time, my mother's sitting there, saying the Lord's Prayer, crossing herself, etc., etc., like, oh my God, I raised a glutton, etc., etc., but I didn't care, and my old man drops a loaf of bread, and I start dipping the bread in the chili, and I'm eating, and my girlfriend at the time is sitting there looking at me with her jaw open, like, what the fuck have I gotten into? I didn't care. I just kept eating and eating and eating the chili, and I'm fucking loving it. I'm like 5 bowls now, And then my mother stops me, and she says, you know what? You're gonna be sick. You're gonna be sick if you eat like this. And I didn't care. I'm disregarding her. She's my mother. I'm like, yeah, I don't fucking care. This is chili. My dad's chili. So I kept eating it. Anyway, eventually, I stuffed myself.
What's the prognosis, doctor?
It isn't good. Looks like an OD.
Pills? Heroin? What?
Chili.
Now, this very same weekend, very same night, my sister comes home, and she was going to school in Boston, and she's getting together with some of her friends, and my girlfriend and I, we don't have anything to do, and she's like, hey, you guys want to go to Providence tonight? Go out, go to the keg room. I look at my girl, hey, why not? So I'm going out to Providence now. I'm going out to Providence with my girlfriend, who's an attractive girl, my sister, who's an attractive girl, my cousin, who's an attractive girl, and a couple of my sister's friends who also happen to be knockouts. Now here I am, this guy who spent his entire life like some dog-faced loser, sitting in the corner of bars, sipping off beers, never getting anything out of it, and I'm here with 5 hot chicks. I'm going out on the town with 5 hot chicks. So we get into this bar, right, and it's all this fucking techno, reggae, techno crap, strobe lights, everybody's dancing, and I'm walking in there, I'm with 5 good-looking girls, I'm feeling on top of the world, hey, I'm the man, I was the man, and I could tell I walked in there, and people are looking at me, guys are looking at me, girls are looking at me, all of them thinking the same thing. This guy must have some serious fucking cock tucked in those jeans, and you know what? I didn't. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is here I'm with 5 good-looking girls, and they're all surrounding me, and we're having beers. regardless of the fact that, I'm related to two of them, dating one, and, the other two, wouldn't stop to, piss on my hair if it were on fire. Anyway, we're sitting there, and I'm starting to get into the music a little bit, the techno beat. I don't like techno, but anyway, I'm on this high, I'm on this sort of natural buzz, I'm sitting dancing with the music, moving a little bit, and then it hit me. I mean, I bucked over like I took a fucking bullet to my stomach. And my girlfriend, like, nudges me. She's like, hey, what's wrong? And I must have been white in the face at this point, and I look at her and go, Chili. I had to shit so goddamn bad that I really thought I was gonna drop a load in my pants. So I sit there and I just look at her. I don't even say anything. I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I start doing this duck walk into the bathroom. I'm pinching my cheeks because I know if I relax my rectal muscles at all, I'm just gonna drop this complete load of chili shit right in my pants. And so I walk into the bathroom and I get there. I'm looking for a stall, and perhaps I should explain the fact that, my entire life, I've had this irrational fear about crapping in public bathrooms, and I don't know what it is, anxiety, it could be something, it could be anything. Anyway, I have this fear of crapping in public bathrooms just because I for some reason, irrationally feel like everybody in that bathroom is listening to me, is watching me, and like they're gonna hear my crap splash in the water, they're gonna smell my stink, and they're gonna laugh at me. So I walk into this bathroom, and I'm in a dire state at this point, and I walk into this bathroom looking for a stall. There's no fucking stall. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. There are a couple of urinals. There are guys sitting in front of the urinals. Then there's this toilet. It's in the corner with no stall around it. No stall. So basically what the people at this bar were saying was that, you can take a shit, but you gotta shit in public like it's some sort of fucking army barrack. And at this point, I resign fuck this. I walk out of the bathroom, I duck walk back to my girlfriend, and she's like, are you alright? I'm like, no, I'm not alright, I gotta shit. And then, at this point, I realize my only option is to get the hell out of this bar, find another bar, and use the bathroom there. So I paid, like a $5 cover charge to go into and listen to this techno shit, and they don't even give me a shitter with a stall. So I'm talking to the guy at the door. I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna pay another $5 to come back in here. I'm like, I'll be right back, like 5 minutes. Listen, man, I just gotta, I gotta go out to my car for a second. So I worked this out with this guy, and so I walk out of the bar. I'm duck walking down the streets of Providence, and at this point, there's this guy outside the bar, this sidewalk psycho, who like paints himself all silver, and he stands in front of a Domino's truck with a megaphone, and he sits there and he yells at people as they're walking down the street, and this guy's yelling at me, hey you walking funny, you want some pizza? And I'm trying to ignore him and the whole thing, and it's just blowing up in my face, and I'm realizing at this point that it's become like some sort of a Greek tragedy. And anyway, so I'm walking down the street, duck walking, and knowing that at any second, if I slip and I fall, I'm gonna shit my pants. But I keep walking anyway. I walk into this bar, and there's this like complete goon, there's this like 50-pound goomba with, biceps the size of tree trunks, standing at the door, and he's like $5. I'm like, listen, man, I just gotta use the bathroom, I'm not gonna stay. You can watch me go into the bathroom and come back. He's like $5. I'm like, man, I just gotta use the bathroom. I'm about to cry at this point, because I know, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay. I don't know how much longer the shit's gonna stay in. And anyway, so there's this irrational frugality in me that like makes myself not pay the $5, because I'm not gonna pay $5 to take a shit. I don't care. I'd rather shit my pants. So I walk back out into the street, and I'm walking through this bar, and I'm walking down Providence, looking for another bar, you know, pretty much weeping at this point. You know, I'm weeping to myself. I'm hating the world. I'm just, God damn it, why me? And then I'm thinking back to my mother saying, you're gonna be sick if you keep eating it. And I'm like, oh man, God damn it, she cursed me. And I'm walking, and then finally I find another bar, and I get into the door. You know, I walk into the door, there's a guy sitting there, he's like, $5. I'm like, man, I just got to use the bathroom. And, you know, I mean, maybe it was because I was almost crying, or maybe it was because he was just like a benevolent, good-hearted man, but he lets me in. So the bar is packed. You know, it's Saturday night, it's, you know, packed with people, etc., etc. And so I go looking for the bathroom, and yeah, I can see it. I can see the little, like, men's room sign flashing in the corner. And so, you know, I fight my way through the crowds, you know, knowing that, you know, relief is like seconds away, you know, and my bowels and my sphincter and my rectum, you know, we're all happy now. We're like, ah, man, we're about, you know, this is on, man. We're about to get it on. But, you know, I'm still afraid of shitting in public, so it doesn't, you know, that starts creeping back into my mind. Now I'm just a complete freaking mess. But anyway, I find the bathroom, and there are people crowded right outside the bathroom drinking, you know, like they had no other place to stand. So I fight through them, you know, weeping to myself, and I finally get into the bathroom. And I open the door, and the bathroom is the size of a frickin' janitor's closet, right? There's like this one urinal, this small sink, and then like this ratty little wooden stall, and that's about it. And there's this guy standing at the urinal, you know, he's taking a leak, you know, and, you know, I duck walk into the bathroom, and I open the door to the stall, right? You know, I figure, hey, fuck it, you know, this is it. You know, I'm not going to hold out any longer. So I open the door to the stall. I look at the bowl, right? And the bowl has wet toilet paper all over the seat, right? Shit stains right in the middle, all over, you know, spread over the porcelain. And I start to weep. I literally start to so you know, I pick up this wad of toilet paper. I take, you know, as much as I can out of it. I got this handful of toilet paper. You know, I close my eyes, turn my head, and I wipe the bowl. I wipe the seat clean, you know, and I sit down, pull down my pants, and I swear to God, it was like a nuclear fucking holocaust. Just this explosion. And, you know, again, like there's this sort of fear, like everyone's listening to me. And the guy at the urinal sits there and he goes, whoa, settle down in there, guy. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm like weeping at this point. You know, and it just keeps coming. You know, and completely unloading. And then, you know, the guy's washing his hand. He's laughing. And then I can hear, like, this chorus of distinct female laughter outside the door. And I just sat there and I put my hand down on my head down on my hands. And I'm like, oh my God. And I, like, you know, mortified. All my worst nightmares, all of my irrational phobias about public shitting are coming true. And it's just this disaster. And so, you know, I sit there, I get up, you know, I wipe myself a little bit, and you know the bathroom procedure. I get up, right, I start pulling up my pants, and I feel another round coming, another explosion. So I sit there, I buck over again, like I've been shot in the stomach again, and like I kind of like yank my pants down, fall down on the bowl, and again, and I can hear the laughter outside, and like I know it's females laughing at me, but I can hear males laughing at me too. And then I hear this one voice, and it's distinct. It's distinct. It's so clear. I just hear. I'm sitting there, you know, head in my hands again, and I hear this one male voice, this booming voice. He goes, "Whoa, there's some serious shitting going on in there," and I just want to die at this point. So, you know, I don't even care. I just, you know, basically wipe up the best I can. I walk out and everybody is looking at me. Everyone's looking right at me, because they know that it's me. There's no doubt in their mind that it is me. I am the one responsible for that serious shitting. And so I just put my head down and I walk out of the bar. So I go back to the original bar, the keg room, where, my sister and her friends and my cousin and my girlfriend are sitting there. And I got my head down. My girlfriend's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing, I gotta go home." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, I just don't feel well. I gotta go home. And she's like, "But, it's early." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I gotta go home." And then that New Year's Eve, we're gonna take a drive to Pennsylvania to go to a party with a bunch of our friends. And right as I was about to leave for the party, thought I had like one of those little like squeaky farts, and I just completely shat my pants. And at least it was at home.
What's the prognosis, Doctor?
It isn't good.
Have you tried jiggling the handle?
Damn it, nurse. Jiggling the handle will not help in this situation. This toilet has experienced some serious shitting. Get me 50 cc's of Lysol, right now.
Yes, Doctor. Where the hell is my bagel and coffee? I'm starving here.
Well, I do have to apologize to all of you. I'm a little nervous tonight. Kind of in the presence of a literary icon of sorts. So, it's kind of a momentous occasion, and that I'd be able to collect my thoughts a little bit. So, I have some prepared notes here. So, anyway, we're ready to begin. First of all, I'd like to welcome you and thank you all for coming. My name is Daniela Crocker, and I am the Special Events Coordinator here at Kirkland Community College. Tonight, I am extremely pleased and honored to be able to present to you one of the premier poets in our nation. I can still remember as clearly as if it were yesterday when I first discovered his work. I am a bit embarrassed to admit that I discovered it pretty much by accident. I'd been in the library with my nose buried simultaneously in 3 physics textbooks for 12 hours straight, cramming for a final exam. I decided I needed a break, so I stumbled bleary-eyed through the poetry section. After browsing for a few moments, I spotted a most unique volume. I pulled it from the shelf and began to leaf through it. The next thing I knew, it was 3 o'clock the following afternoon, and I'd missed my final exam. I didn't care. I'd found my true calling. I was determined to track down the author of this life-altering volume of verse, and managed to bring him here to Kirkland. If his work has even a fraction of the effect on you that it has on me, I will consider this evening a smashing success. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm round of applause to tonight's guest, the poet Dr. Murdoch Cabelay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Firstly, I'll admit that I'm also reading from prepared notes. Not because I'm nervous, mind you. I'm much too old to be nervous about anything. But rather because I'm very, very intoxicated. I'd like to thank Billy in the campus bar for displaying to me that today's youth is not the bunch of talentless losers that I'd previously thought they were. Well, at least not entirely. I'd like to thank Ms. Crocker and Kirkland Community College for having me. I would also sincerely like to thank you all for coming tonight, and especially for paying $10 each for the privilege of listening to me. At the request of Miss Crocker, I will only be reading from one of my many volumes tonight, specifically the one that she discovered on the library shelf on that fateful evening many years ago. It's called When You're Climbing Up a Ladder and You Hear Something Splatter. And it's the only time in my career that I've followed a strict rhyme scheme and meter. Ironically, it was very refreshing and exhilarating for me to have to follow such rules after a long career of working in an entirely structureless, free-form manner. Unfortunately, this volume went out of print shortly after it was published, so there will not be copies offered for sale after the reading. But I will make myself available to autograph the breasts and buttocks of the young ladies in the audience, and for the young men, scraps of paper or other objects not associated in any way with any part of their anatomies. Okay, let us begin. Oh, one more thing. I would ask that you please hold your applause until the end of the reading. That will be easier for you and, more importantly, for me. Okay, let me see. Ah, yes. When you're waiting in the station and you wish for constipation, diarrhea, oh yes, diarrhea. When you're driving in your car and the rest stop's just too far, diarrhea, oh yes, diarrhea. Your bowels know no lenience in this ghastly inconvenience. Diarrhea, oh yes, diarrhea. Your colon's being hyper, so you've got to wear a diaper. Diarrhea, oh yes, diarrhea. Now that's my kind of posy. I hope you're kidding. This guy sucks. You suck! May I suggest, ma'am, in keeping with this evening's theme, that you are an eater of wet and runny excrement. You savor it with a spoon and slurp it with a straw. Now please, no further outbursts from the likes of a turd eater like you. There are many other people who have come to hear my work, and I'd appreciate if you would remain silent. Thank you. Okay, whatever. Good comeback. Now let me see, where was I? Ah, yes. Excuse me. It's irritable bowel syndrome. It can't be helped. You wish that you were dreaming, but your pants are really steaming. Diarrhea. Oh yes, diarrhea.
You attend the party, but you're feeling more than farty. Diarrhea. Oh, yes. Diarrhea. You try to pass a fart. Ew, that wasn't smart. Diarrhea. Oh, yes. Diarrhea. Oh, and here's one of my favorites. When I completed this verse, I knew I had a masterpiece. You do well to dig a hole for this rancid casserole. Diarrhea. Oh yes, diarrhea. Once again, I would like to thank Kirkland Community College for having me. I would like to thank Daniela for inviting me to read. I would like to thank all of you for coming. It has been the utmost pleasure to present my work to you. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves as much as I have enjoyed myself. And with that, my final piece. This is one for the younger generation, so I hope that you will relate. Dude, it isn't funny when your poo is wet and runny. Diarrhea, oh yes. Diarrhea. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, yes. I will see you after the reading, sweetheart. Yes, I'll be at the campus bar. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It's delightful to be here. There you go, sweetheart. Thank you so much. It has really been a pleasure. I will see you after the reading. Thank you all so much for coming. I will most certainly see you after the reading, whoever you may be, to toss these so kindly my way. I will see all of you, make time for all of you in the campus bar momentarily. Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bagel? Coffee? Please?